Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we did another mission for Ordo Malleus, and we'll just knock out this third one. Damage for normal enemies and movement speed. Cool. So we'll do... that, because influence means nothing. You and you. Pretty good spread for the damage bonuses, so we should hopefully be fine.
Between the stars, the ancient unseen enemies of mankind wait and hunger. Be strong and give them no quarter.
So I saw a discussion happening online that made me really think, and this is something I bet some of you probably haven't even noticed. And just right off the top of your head, tell me, how many units, like different statted out units, are there for Space Marines within the Codex, across all this stuff? How many units? Because there's apparently over 100. I didn't realize that. And it's something I've kind of inadvertently touched on before, is the armies are losing their kind of unique builds because they're growing so large. And people have been saying, like, hey, we need to kind of trim these army sizes, not in terms of points, but in terms of sheer unit rosters, which is very true. Yes, it does cost Games Workshop, to a degree, some money, because, you know, oh, we're not selling all these different units. Yeah, that is the unfortunate reality here. But the point that is made here is these armies lose a lot of what makes them unique and their weaknesses. You know, what are Space Marines weak to? They have anti-infantry, they have anti-horde, they have melee, they have vehicles, they have everything to some degree. And if it was, oh, it's this chapter gets this, that would be one thing. But for the most part, these are just, oh, these are common pool units. Necrons got a big roster bump in the past couple of years, which on one hand, cool. On the other hand, how do you counter them? And I think the problem then becomes, and this wasn't touched on in the discussion, but I do think it is a problem, to counter their unit variety, you nerf their abilities. Remember when Necrons were rising from the dead constantly and they were effectively Terminators? You know, the nerf hit. Now, yeah, you couldn't have some of those units continually coming back. That would be hell on earth. But if we didn't have those and didn't have to worry about those, this would be a lot easier. But by nerfing that ability, it makes me wonder, did that result in some of these new units? You know, oh, they don't have stuff that's very durable, so we need to give them durable units, instead of making their durability come from their revive mechanic. I mean, look at examples I saw were like Harlequins. Harlequins are a very small army size, or like number in their codices. Look at Custodes. They're pretty limited in their scope, but that's what makes them interesting and what makes it good, because then you know, oh, I'm fighting Custodes. They are weak to this, this, and this. You know, oh, they're high value, low unit count. So if you have stuff that can help counter that, you can beat them more easily. Instead of, oh, hey, this is Custodes Nut Slapper unit where they get squads of 8 guys who are all in Terminator armor. they're the new unit, I guess their high value, low model deal is gone now. And while yes, that is extreme hyperbole, the idea is still there. Removing a lot of what makes these factions unique hurts the game more than anything. And it's a shame, because then if they wanted to introduce all these new units, they could. You know, give these things two different factions within the group. Oh, you want to add, you know, a fancy new tank to Imperial Guard? Well, pick a subgroup. They get them. Suddenly, you know, it's a little easier, because it's like, oh, well, you have to use this pool of units if you want to use this, because it's tied to this group. There's definitely ways that could solve this problem quite easily. Man, weird how those modifiers did not make this very difficult at all. Like, last two times I was getting just beat down horribly, but this time it's going easy. But yeah, it's a bad spot the game is in, where we have just tons and tons of units. And I do have to question, how many get used? You know, how many are just so terribly imbalanced that it's like, oh, you want to use, you know, this artillery, field artillery for Imperial Guard, but its point cost is stupid, so you're not going to use it because it's just not worth it in terms of your statistical values of getting hits. What's in the box? Not a whole lot. Alright, let's just mulch these up real quick. And we'll go do a actual little mission here.
I have arrived at the relay station. Tech Priest, I need a status report.
Monastery has been inactive for 32.7 standard Imperial years.
I have found the remains of an Imperial squad. They have been massacred.
Possibly of a hostile incursion, increased by 85.7%.
The question is, this has been done well.
I think I picked the wrong one, because this one, I believe, involves Dark Eldar, but whatever. There's so many things that could be done, even if Games Workshop didn't want to get rid of all the different units, just because, you know, you can make money. And I understand. You know, you don't want to throw away perfectly good stuff. Like I said, just start reassigning stuff. It really wouldn't hurt to help some of these other factions out. When's the last time White Scars for Space Marines got anything new? I can't tell you. You know, I think Salamanders might have got something new recently. I don't remember. Ravenguard... I mean, Ravenguard are pretty limited, but you could do something. You know, give them... upgrade suppressors, because last I heard, people were saying suppressors are still trash. And, you know, buff them a bit, give them to them. Thematically, it makes sense. It would help out them to get a little more attention. You know, it gives possibilities. Because, I mean, I feel like we're starting to see that now with orcs. Because you know all the, like, wild beast ones that are coming out where it's like, oh, we got, like, mounted squig guys. It's like, cool. Why would I use that over, you know, a truck? Just, I don't know. I would still use a truck over a squig. And if it's the whole point of like, oh, well, they're fast attack vehicles, that I feel like orcs don't really get like bike equivalent fast attack. You know, you have vehicles that do drive-bys. That seems more fitting. You know, unless you make a separate faction, let's just call them the Beast Catches, and that's their specialty. They just also can't use trucks or other things. And unfortunately, this is something Games Workshop wrote themselves into. And it's like you can have common pool units. That's fine. I mean, I look at it like, take Yu-Gi-Oh! I know I use it as an example, but it's my best example. You can have a hero deck, quite literally just hero. That would consist of elemental hero, dark hero, masked heroes, and I believe destiny heroes? Destiny, dark, elemental. Yeah, I think that's all of them. There might be another one. I haven't checked in a while. But you could use all of them. Because they have the hero tag, and certain cards are just, you use hero. Yep, I knew this was Dark Eldar. But then at the same time, because not all dark heroes interact with heroes, and their abilities specifically dictate you have to target a dark hero, same as their spell and trap cards, you limit your capabilities. And that's what you could do with these armies, is have certain things where it's like, hey, we only buff certain things, but we have a common pool that you can pull from. There's better ways of handling this than the obvious army bloat we're facing. Because, I mean, I think that's partially why these balances take forever to come out. And some people have said that the editions, all the books were actually made at the same time, and they just stagger their releases, which I highly doubt, because that just doesn't make any sense with how balanced this, like how imbalanced the game becomes at times. You couldn't tell me this was all some weird intentional ploy. I'd be thinking you're, you know, huffing some crack there. But I think there are definitely things that could be done. I want to see better armies, better rock, paper, scissors style play to things. Because, yeah, the more I think about it, it's like I don't even know what weaknesses there are anymore for a lot of these armies. Because a lot of the times, the units that would be like your mainstay, you don't run a lot of. A lot of the times, like, I was watching some guys play AdMac, and, you know, you'd think you'd have a lot of Skitarii and a lot of, you know, servitors, because, you know, that's AdMac's kind of deal. Except their army and point values and all that have shifted in such a way. I see guys who are just like, yeah, we have like a squad of servitors in the back, and then we just have a metric shit ton of I can't remember the robot name specifically. I mean, it's a number of them. There's a couple different types. There's cataphracts, which are the guys with like the treads. And then there's, oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. The other ones, the bipedal, kind of just really big humanoid looking ones. It's kind of like ogre sized almost. It's those two. And that's what their army consists mostly of. And it's like, I get that's part of AdMech, but like you don't even use your basic bitch infantry. I feel like that's a problem. And that's a problem with a lot of these factions, is they just don't use a lot of the stuff they're kind of built around. I've seen so many people play Death Guard, and they're like, yeah, here's all my Plague Marines, here's my Plague Mortar, here's my Blight Drones. Oh yeah, I think I have a unit of Poxwalkers somewhere. I'm like, aren't the Poxwalkers supposed to be like one of your main units to tar pit? I thought the whole point of Death Guard was to be the tar pit chaos faction who then just, chips away at you with the actually damaging units. But I guess I'm wrong. I'm the idiot here. And I do get it. People will complain, well, it's really boring if you have an army that builds a very specific way. You want to know the easy solution to this entire problem? Make armies cheaper. If I can spend maybe half of what I have to on an army, I'm more willing to, maybe get a second army. Because then I'm like, oh, I'm not throwing money hand over fist at something, praying it doesn't get nerfed, because I have backups. Once again, kind of in a microcosm here, Yu-Gi-Oh! I have a couple decks. I didn't dedicate everything to one deck because I knew chances are it'll lose support eventually, which most of them did, or they'll get nerfed, which actually none of the ones I played did. Or I got into them when they were, post-nerf, so I didn't get to enjoy the heydays of being broken as hell.
New audio log.
There's definitely solutions that aren't being explored here that don't disrupt the game as much as one would think, and actually potentially revitalize it and sales. The glory reward's not going to be great, I guarantee it. Yeah. But that's to be expected. A second one? Okay. Thought we just covered that, but whatever. Hey, we don't have a third. But that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.